Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. After a positive start with the 3 points for Manchester United, we're going to take a look back over the game of some of the key moments and some key improvements that we feel that Manchester United still need to improve on. Getting involved in the chat, as ever, Reds, with your own opinions. But some absolutely great news last night. If anyone watched our match reaction, Tony lost his coat, but we found it.
Yeah, 12:30 in the morning, got a call, got your coat, it was found, and it's been put away. So, great start to the day.
Fantastic start to the day. He's found it. I would have bought you one anyway. It's your birthday next month, so I would have replaced it for you as the good son that I am. But going on to the game against Fulham, what was your key moments, your highlights from the game, the positives to take away from it?
Well, to be honest, it's all positives. Yes, we know there's lots of improvements, what's needed, especially after last year. Finishing 8th is not acceptable. But looking at last night, I just thought to myself, lots of runners there last night, people being available. You look at Casemiro, he excels when there's people around him running, and I thought he was everywhere, Casemiro, last night. Good, solid performance. But there's improvement to be made with people running around. You look at the formation, what it was, false 9. Well, I just seen Mason Mount running, trying to close the goalie down. Doesn't work. We have to improve on that. Last year, it was poor at times. Yesterday, yes, it's the first game. Not being critical. There's signs for improvement. I looked at the wingers. Wasn't really helping Mount to close down. So that has to improve, and I'm sure it will with the games coming up. So, bit more fitness. Ten Hag gets in their ears and reminds them, there's a job to be done, and that has to be done, to be honest with you. Lots of teams do it, and it helps the defence able to come forward.
Yeah, you mentioned Mason Mount, starting off with the press. You have to do it as a unit, and it's key to know when to do it as well, so it actually works as like a team. Yeah,
well, what it is, it's down to the tactics. And I'm sure Erik ten Hag and the coaches are telling him, but for some reason, it doesn't. It happens for about 5-10 minutes and then fades away. The high line, Erik ten Hag, the tactics, and we're all looking at the tactics this year because there has to be a big improvement. But in that area with the forwards, that has to improve. The high line's there for a reason. It's so the midfield and the defence can move forward. Now then, I just look at it last night and think to myself, bit of fatigue, bit of newness. Think it just wasn't going right. So that is a big improvement. Has to come.
Have we got to kind of accept as well with the way Erik ten Hag wants to play, where he wants to push the midfield 2 up in the middle, high up the pitch to try and get the ball back, get in like the opposition's faces, that we will be left exposed at times as well, just because of the style of play he wants to play, and he wants to be on the front foot, aggressive, being attacking.
Well, the whole idea, he talks about improving, working as a team. So when they play the high line, that's down to the back 4 to come forward and close that gap so they can step into it. Yes, it happened a few times yesterday. I even seen Maguire coming out, but the high line does not suit Maguire. Had a great game, said it last night, had a great game, but the high line doesn't suit Maguire. I looked at De Ligt, he looked composed. He just slotted in there. So Maguire is where he is. He does well for England. He sits back. And when he sits back for United, he seems to get the ball and control it. But it is not the tactics for improvement going forward. It's a high line.
Yeah, a good shout here from Dan Fenton. And it's not something he actually realised last night until now you've said it. But he said it was also good last night not to see 20+ shots on goal either. Now, I don't know the actual stats on the actual shots we faced last night, and if anyone out there has got them, get him in the chat, but it didn't feel like that to me. Yeah, we did have pressure put on us at times in the game, which we all seen, especially from set pieces, corners, but I didn't get that feeling like it was shot after shot from Fulham throughout the game.
No, I think we had more shots than they did. I think on target we had 5. They had 2. So the dominance was there, the opportunities was there. And that's what Ten Hag wants. He wants the opportunities. Don't waste the ball. Don't give it away unnecessarily. And that's what's got to be improved on, not giving the ball away. Because once you give that ball away, happened once or twice yesterday, but that's acceptable. But once you give it away, we're prone to the counter-attack, and we have suffered in the past. So that's something to improve on, keeping the ball. And players did keep the ball last night. They did improve on it. So going forward, I think there's more improvement coming, and it will come.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today. Plenty of positivity in the chat. And Tenfold says that performance looked less ping-pong than previous performances to me. We will get better when we move up the pitch, hopefully. And he's right there, like describing it as ping-pong football, because it was more or less last season. United attack, then the opposition attack, and that's when we was getting left open in that midfield area.
Yeah, well, you look at the game last night, and you look at the debutant Mazza, for instance. He had a controlled and a good game, didn't waste what he was doing, and I think that's going through. And then you look at Mainoo himself was more controlled, did do a lot of dribbles and all that, but he was controlled, and Casemiro was controlled as well, because he had the freedom, because people was running around. There wasn't wastefulness last night. Keep the ball. The more you keep the ball, the more the opposition get frustrated, and that worked. Obviously the tactics with no striker there, really, a false striker, I think that
actually
helped.
Yeah, but I actually see that kind of going forward. I know Zirkzee's our striker, but he kind of plays like that. He does drop deep to link up the play, but it looks like he's got the speed, the energy then to try and get onto the end of things, like we did see him when he scored the goal as well.
Well, he had an excellent performance for the time he was on the pitch, and you could see what was needed there, and he did the job. He come looking for the ball, didn't waste it, gave it. Off he went, looking for it again, a return pass, and that's what it's all about. We seem to keep the ball more yesterday. And you said it, ping-pong football, and we've had that loads of times. It's not the way to be. Keep the ball, and that is going to improve. I like what I'm seeing, and I can see that the tactics are changing. Yes, it wasn't everyone's cup of tea using a false nine, but needs must. Zirkzee on the bench, but hey, he'll get starters and it'll all change.
Yeah, Philip Knox, Raymond, Rich Club Sport, thanks for all joining us. Philip said, saw some good things, just missed the chances again, and surely that's just going to come with more games.
Yeah, it's going to come with more games, but you look at Rashford, for instance. He passed the ball to Garnacho. Now, many strikers will be looking at that saying, I would never have passed that ball. Bit of confidence needed there, should have shot, but we've seen what's happened with Rashford. His confidence is going in front of goal. He's not putting the ball away as he should do as a striker, but hopefully that confidence comes back. Pass the ball, should have shot.
No, to be honest, I've got to look at the different side of it. The actual position Rashford was, the way the goalie actually closed the space down, I think it was good from the goalkeeper, and he actually done the right thing, in my opinion, Rashford, in squaring the ball to Garnacho, who, let's face it, had an open net. If Garnacho had 10 more attempts in the same position, he'd probably knock every single one in, because he should have buried it, and I think that was the actual right decision in that right moment from Rashford.
I'm agreeing with you, it's the right decision. I'm just looking at strikers. Right, when they get the opportunity, they've got the confidence and they go for it. The strikers, a lot of strikers are selfish. They'll tell you that, right? And Rashford, really, with his confidence being a little bit low, I thought the confidence wasn't there for him to shoot as strikers would. And I would have passed it. I would have been more comfortable passing it as Rashford did. But you have to get in the goals and you have to have the confidence. Strikers, that's what it's about.
Yeah. No, I do agree with that point, what you made about being a striker. You've got to be deadly lethal, and scoring goals only brings confidence. And let's see how he gets on in the Brighton game, Rashford, because he does need a goal to get off the mark as well.
Yes, that's right. And strikers, you know, they'll tell you, no, I'm not passing. And many players have turned around and gone, yeah, he's a great player in that, but he won't pass it me.
Yeah, Zamey Ashley, cheers for Super Chat. He says, well done for the win. Get ready for our masterpiece. Arsenal playing today, Arsenal fan.
Yeah, well, you've got to win every game, so let's see what happens there.
Yeah, Malp says the midfield still needs work, and let's face it, a lot of yous on our channel who join us regular would have heard our thoughts and your own opinions that we still need that midfielder in before the transfer window shuts.
Well, you have to go back to last year and just say to yourself, there's big gaps in that midfield, and I'm not saying it was perfect last night. There has to be a proper, solid midfield player brought in here. We will be open at times, but yesterday it was against Fulham. It was the first game. Both sides, the legs were going a little bit, but we do need someone, and we have to get someone. And if we do get someone, obviously, Ugarte is on the radar, then excellent. That would then top off the transfer season. And I think looking at United and the confidence around the club, with the players on the pitch, the way they're talking, a midfield player in there would absolutely...
It'd just top it off. It'd be the icing on the cake.
Well, I think the fans would be over the moon. They'd be charging. And with the fans, just while I'm on that topic, going to the game yesterday, you could see the fans were up for it. They can feel the change, and it's changed what we need. But with the change, we've got to have improvement, and there's just one thing we need to improve, and that's in that midfield, bringing a player in.
Just sticking on the midfield, and in particular Kobbie Mainoo, and out of the stats for the Manchester United players against Fulham, duels won, he ranked first. Successful dribbles, he ranked first. Interceptions, he ranked first. Tackles won, he ranked first. And fouls won, ranked first.
You listen.
What did you think of his performance overall with the actual eye test, though?
I thought he was fine. I think once or twice got caught with the ball, and then they sort of broke with it. So he'll have to sort of like look at that and release the ball a little bit quicker, I think. But overall, looking at Mainoo there and listening to his comments over the summer, the confidence from him was there to see by everyone. And them stats bear it out. First in this, first in that. And that's Kobbie Mainoo. He can only improve, and that's fantastic for Man United.
Yeah, Aaron Hewitt says, can you see us signing anyone? Well, signing anyone else? Or do you think we will sell anyone? And it's going to lead me on to Scott McTominay, Jadon Sancho. Do you think they will leave in the transfer window?
Well, Scott McTominay first. I look at that. Fulham, been in for him. Fulham were there yesterday. I mentioned it last week. I think there might be a movement with Scott McTominay. With Sancho, I'm not too sure with Sancho. I think the high wages are a problem. I don't think we'll get a transfer fee for him and someone paying them wages. There might be a loan deal there for Sancho.
On the right-hand side, Ahmad, a couple of opportunities that I seen, runs that he actually made from the inside the midfield area. But then second half comes, sort of petered out of the game, didn't really see much of him. But I think it was right from Erik ten Hag to take him off as well, save his legs and then go again next week.
Yeah, I think there's no criticism on Ahmad, because I don't really think that in the second half, the amount of time he was on, the game was flowing down that wing.
Yeah.
I think what it was, I think Erik ten Hag looked at it, and it's no criticism of the subs coming on. I thought they did well. But I think Erik ten Hag looked at it and said, right, now's the time for change, which is good. Because if you look at last year, lots of fans were very critical. We was critical at times about why isn't he bringing players on sometimes at half-time, 65 minutes to come, and then he was leaving players to bring on till late on when really the game was done. So you look at it yesterday, Erik ten Hag made the change, and that was the right thing to do, to try and bring some more life into the game. And Ahmad, the game wasn't really on fire down that right in the second half. But in the first half, you look at his performance, he was getting the ball, he was bringing players into it. Very tricky. I like him. He just needs a run of games, and that kid will fly.
You'd think Brighton might give us a bit more of a tougher test as well after getting a game under the belt over this weekend. So what do you expect us to be like, especially with the starters in the starting 11? The formation will probably stay the same. But do you expect near enough the same teams to start again?
I do expect the same team to start again near enough. I look at it, Erik ten Hag said last night that there was no injuries, and that was a great thing. Yeah. So I think he'll stick with it. I think players still need time to get the fitness up. But looking going forward, I don't see United really changing the tactics in the way they played against Fulham. They want to keep the ball, and there's one thing you don't do is let Brighton have the ball for long periods of time, because they will pass right round you. It will be a tough test. So United have to keep the ball, do the work and run round them. And Brighton, it's going to be tough. But I look at it and I think to myself, I'm going there with confidence, because the confidence is there within the club, within the fan base. Everywhere you look, every person you speak to, when you look on the tally and everything, the confidence is there. And I think Brighton will be worried, and by rights should be worried. Let's hope it continues, this confidence, and we don't fall flat on our face at Brighton. I don't expect that, to be honest.
And we've also got to think as well, we had some clear-cut opportunities. Bruno had a couple in the first half, Mason Mount near enough at the start of the second half as well. So we could have had more goals, and it would have been a lot easier going into that 90-minute mark before Zirkzee goal scored as well.
Yeah, I think with more game time, more sharpness, I look at Bruno's, one of his chances there, should have dinked it over him like Anthony Martial used to. You know, Martial used to get in the box, and when it was there, the goalie coming at him, he just used to hesitate but dink it over him. And I look at Mason Mount, you know, he should have dinked it over him as well. But, you know, sharpness and all that, it will come.
Raymond in the chat says positive change this season is that the bench allows for bringing in players who can change up the game without losing that quality and a drop-off.
Well, this is what Erik ten Hag wants. He wants strength in depth, and to challenge, you need a full squad there where you can bring players on and change the game. And to Erik ten Hag, I think he started off in the right way with the bench, bringing players on, giving them time. You look at the 3 debutants yesterday, I thought they all did well coming on for their bit parts in the game. And you look at Erik ten Hag, he was prepared to change the game. And sometimes we've all been critical that he's not changed the game in time. And the bench, 18 players you need minimum, right, to be able to start first time. So strong bench last night, looking good going forward.
He was asked about why Jadon Sancho wasn't in the squad last night, but he also mentioned about the survival of the fittest. And he said that Jadon Sancho had an ear infection and was not 100%. He could play, but we made choices that can change.
Well, I've got to look at that, and I've looked at many, many excuses for Jadon Sancho. He's had loads of excuses, but the excuses seem to be like where you can't come back and prove anything different. Yes, he might have had an ear infection, but let's get it right. Players in the day, right, have played with serious injuries and everything, right, because they want to get out there. They're committed in everything. And unfortunately, with Jadon Sancho, there's too many excuses. An ear infection doesn't wash with me. But what more do you expect Erik ten Hag to say? He's not going to come out and say he wasn't committed, he wasn't there for the fight and all that. Bit of an ear infection. Weak, lame excuse for Jadon Sancho, if that's what it was, to be honest with you.
I think the key words there in the bottom bit was the survival of the fittest. I can only pick 20 in the squad.
Well, I picked up on it, and to be honest, I didn't want to spoil the positivity, what I'm going through, because the fittest of the...
survival of the fittest.
The survival of the fittest. We know it's a battle, but that's what you want, and that's what Erik ten Hag is introducing to the squad. He's bringing players in. There's now 2 players at least for each position, and there's a fight. And if you don't fight, you don't survive. And Jadon Sancho, for me, and many, many other people have seen his career at Manchester United where he's not prepared to fight. It does happen. Some players, and Jadon Sancho, for me, it's clear he can't cope with Manchester United.
Neil says in the chat he thinks that Man United will be harder to beat this season.
That's what Erik ten Hag wants, harder to beat. We've brought centre-halves in. Maguire seems to be improving, getting his game again. He's a fighter, Harry Maguire, we can see that. I've criticised him many, many times, right? But he's there, and when he's on the pitch, he does a job. But hard to beat is what you want. And when I listened to Martinez last night speaking, the confidence, what I see in him there, and he's like a breath of fresh air when he's on the pitch. And we did miss him for a lot of the season last year. So that really undermined the team and the progress and that. But with Martinez there, you can feel it. And the strength in the back 4. Mazza, good, solid performance. Delot, I didn't think played a great game, but hey, fitness comes into it. But the back 4, there's players coming in, and I just feel the confidence that they're going to do it. We've just got to make sure that Onana is on his game and he works well with that back 4, but all looking good. It was good that we didn't concede a goal last night.
Yeah, clean sheet come away from it, yeah of course.
That was good. And Onana, he did. he did one excellent save and then did another good save. So that was good. I enjoyed that side of it.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised in a way. I know you've been talking about it throughout pre-season, about Casemiro, the shape that he actually looks in, looks a lot fitter. But I was surprised how far up he actually played at times in trying to win the ball back as well.
Yeah.
And most of the time, him and Mainoo actually did do that.
Yeah, well, they're on the front foot. Yeah. They are definitely on the front foot. That's the tactics Eric wants. He wants them to go forward. And if players are running at defenders hate people running at him. And Casemiro got in some excellent positions. Mainoo got in some excellent positions. But the thing is, it's all about the back four and the midfield coming forward and helping them forwards and trying to create. And that's exactly what Casemiro did. I did say in the summer, looking at him, straight away, I went, he just looks totally different. He looks as though he's lost a lot of weight, put on a bit of muscle.
New haircut as well.
Well, that always helps. Could do with a few on here, to be honest with you. Hey, you know, we're not the quickest to go to the barbers. But no, Casemiro there, I just think to myself, he's come back and he's trying to prove a few things. So, to me...
The thing is, for me, though, I'd still like to see improvements where Man United control the game for more than 10 minutes, because it's like Man United always have, like, a 10-minute spell here and there. They don't have, like, a dominance of, like, 20, 25 minutes. We don't expect a team to dominate for 80, 90 minutes, but them spells, and when they do have them at least 10, 15-minute spells, we need them to bury some of the chances as well, and that's what gets you points in games.
Yeah, you talk about the dominance in the game. I think what we all have to be careful here, right? These players coming in here, they're not used to each other. The tactics, everything about the game going forward and everything, you've got to look at it. It's about keeping the ball, not the dominance, and then sort of creating the chances when you go forward. We are not going to be dominant. It's going to be take a while for this team to gel. So I like what I've seen with the performance yesterday. And I also, I like one of the big improvements as well. Did anyone notice how the free kicks were creating problems for the opposition? How the corners improved? I absolutely tore into United last year for the free kicks. I'd never seen anyone doing any decent free kicks. And the corners were virtually coming to nothing. But last night, the corners were penetrating, and you've seen Casemiro up there, and we all know Casemiro, when he's in the box from a free kick, we've seen him score goals and all that, and
he was getting his head to him, and I think he must have had about 4 or 5 chances in that first half from set pieces and just shots from the edge of the area as well. But he's defending the set pieces as well. I think was really good in the penalty box.
Well, if you look at the set piece coach, there's a set piece coach come in. Suddenly, it's changed on there from set pieces. We was very poor last year, and there was a marked improvement last year. And to get goals, part of getting goals is using your set pieces. And I thought that was an upgrade. I'm not going to say it was great. It was an upgrade, and there's room for improvement in that. So, good going forward. We're actually taking free kicks and corners.
Yeah, just like to wrap it up there. I'd like to thank everyone for getting involved in the chat. Man United won against Fulham, getting the 3 points. He was the hero last night, Joshua Zirkzee.
Yeah.
If you want to get involved and continue the chat, please get involved in the comments below. Support us as well by smashing that like button, and we'll be back on Monday with another Manchester United chat. So you enjoy, well, all of you enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Top 1 Reds, and we'll see you soon. Thank you
very much.